Hey everybody, it's Matt with The Easy Life, and today we're going to show you how to do a pre-trip inspection on a truck and trailer. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unlatch our hood. There should be a latch on each side. This one could be a little bit tricky. Walk around the front. There we go. Now, we're going to safely lift the hood. Now, we're going to start on the passenger side. First thing we're going to look at is the exhaust. Here at the turbo and on back. See if there's any leaks, exhaust leaks, any cracks, anything like that. We'll look at the intercooler piping. We're going to check the belt, or belts, should I say, are nice and tight. They're not, no excessive wear. We're going to check our washer fluid. It's hard to see on the camera, but I can see it. I'm running a little low. I need to put some in there. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and check our tire. Now, keep in mind, I've already done all this. I'm just showing you all this for educational purposes. So, I have a club that I bang all these tires with. All right, we make sure the brakes are properly adjusted. There's no excessive damage. Now, the brakes on this thing are hot, so I'm not going to reach in there, but you're supposed to reach behind the tire, behind the wheel here. Check the brake lights on the drums. Mine are good. Suspension looks all good. All the lines look good. Okay, now we move around to the driver's side. Make sure all our air lines are properly connected. No leaks. Check the brakes and brake linings on this side. Check the steering. This is the steering shaft. You'll make sure there's no excessive play. Check our coolant. My engine is warm, so that's actually proper. Again, check the intercooler piping. The fuel filter. You can't even see the fuel level of the fuel filter, so that means it's filtering very well. It's got a lot of life left in it. Make sure the power steering isn't leaking anywhere. The suspension's all right. Any electrical connections you see, make sure they're nice and tight. On this side, you'll check the oil. Since the engine's hot, I'm not going to do it. I've already checked it. So you would pull that stick right there, that yellow one, pull it out, wipe off the end of it, stick it back in, pull it out, see where the oil level is. Mine was good this morning before I left, so we're all good. Checking your air filter is not technically part of the pre-trip inspection, although it doesn't hurt to actually do it. Mine is easy to get to, so I can just look in there and see that it's not too dirty. Make sure my windshield wipers are adequate. And then we safely close the hood. Now mine's got a shock absorber on it, so it lowers softly. Then we come around. Again, we latch the hood securely. While we're here, we go ahead and make sure this mirror is clean and properly adjusted, as well as the headlights. But we're going to take a look at those in just a minute. I really need to bring this thing to a truck wash. And again, we come to this side, properly latch the hood. Okay. Now, next we check on both sides of the truck and trailer, everything we got. But before we do that, I want to show you something really cool. Now, this truck has a really cool feature that I really like. Helps with checking the lights. You look over here, you have a button called light test. You click that, And it starts flashing all of your lights intermittently, allowing you to do a safe and easy light test. Now the cab lights automatically come on. These start flashing your low beams, your high beams, your markers, and your turn signals start flashing. It'll do this until I turn that feature off. Again, we check this tire for proper inflation. Make sure there's no loose lug nuts or anything. You can tell by little bits of rust, because while they have aluminum rims, those are still lug bolts, lug nuts and all that. Check the catwalk, make sure there's no damage. Check under here. There's a little pull tab. I don't know if you can hear that hiss, but it's draining all the water out of my air tank. Okay. Make sure the DEF cap is secured. Make sure the fuel cap on this side is secured. Make sure in here is my fire extinguisher. In here is where I keep tools, straps, things like that. Make sure that door is secured. You can hear the APU running, so my apologies. That's the battery box. We make sure that it's secured. And again, lights flashing intermittently. Here in a second, you'll see that one light up. There it is. Okay. As well as these side marker lights are on. Glad hands are secured. Electrical is secured. We also check the paperwork on the trailer, which is stored in there. We check the inflation of these tires. Make sure they're safe. Check our mud flaps to make sure they're safe. We also, my apologies, we check any lights at the top of the trailer. Since I'm not hauling a hazmat load, we make sure there's no placards. Now we move on back, make sure the handles for the crank is secure, make sure the mud flap is secure. We check to make sure these all lights are working back here. And we can go ahead and see that that mud flap over there is secure. We're properly hitched. Landing gear is up. Handle stored correctly. You can see the light on the side of the trailer flashing. Make sure all these tires are properly inflated. And the lug nuts are in good shape. Again, I've already done all this, so I'm not going to do it again. Mud flap secured on the back. Make sure this hook is secured, because that's what the door holds the door open. Make sure all the hardware on the door is secured. Lights up there work. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but they are on. Again, these will flash intermittently. There you go. These are what hooks to those hooks we just looked at. They're good. Door properly secured. Seal in place. Door properly latched, bottom and top. Again, lights over here flashing. There we go. Again, all hardware on the trailer is secured. Again, this hook, in good shape. Mud flaps. Tires properly inflated and secured. Lights properly working. Notice if there's any damage to the skirting. Make sure landing gear is up on this side, because I have seen landing gear that would break and only one side would pick up. Again, mud flap, tires, fenders. Yes, that's the APU running. And fuel cap secured. Lights on. Mirrors in good shape. No damage to windows. No any body damage. And we are good. So that, everyone, is a pre-trip inspection, more or less. You actually go in a little bit more detail than that. You'll check your paperwork, make sure all your permits are current, make sure the paperwork is correct for your load, things like that. But that pretty much covers it. Contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of rumors flying around now that you do not have to have your bed made to pass an inspection. And any officer who tries to say that, and yes, it has been tried before, is just trying to find a reason to give you a ticket. They know we're likely not going to come back over here and fight it. We're just going to pay the ticket. So, yeah, they will do that. They will try and sneak some stuff in. So, I hope you learned something today, a little something about what, we truckers go through on a day-to-day basis. This is something I have to do every day, and again every night. Now, at night, on a post-trip inspection, we don't check fluids or anything like that because they're hot. There's certain things we just don't check. Again, we don't reach in, touch the brake linings, things like that, because they're hot. They will burn you. But we do an overall check, tire pressures, securement, load securement, things like that. So, not much difference between a post-trip and a pre-trip, but there are a few. So thank you for coming along today. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel. I much appreciate you being here. As always, God bless, and be good.